Okay, I'm Mark from Backpacking and Hiking Tips. Now, what I want to do in this video is introduce people, or start to introduce people, of how they can go from absolutely zero experience to enjoying their first backpacking trip. It's always a bit worrying, isn't it? How do you get started? What kit do you need? Where do you have a look? What do you want to achieve? How do you have fun, and how do you stay safe? Now, people have asked about my experience. I'm an ex-army PTI. I have run more ultra marathons than I can count. I've done Hadrian's Wall coast to coast as multi-day events. I've run the Marathon des Sables through the Sahara Desert for 7 days. I undertook John O'Groats to Land's End. I have a lot of experience in this. And what I want to do is introduce people who have zero experience and how they can get started. And how are we going to do that? How are we going to get newbies introduced into backpacking and hiking and enjoying it? There's a 4-step plan for this. So the first one for me is dream. The second one is research. The third one is gear. And the fourth one is plan and execute your plan. I'll put that on the screen for you. Okay, number one is dream. And I always call it dream because it's where I kind of get some of my ideas, fall asleep and come up with a dream of something I want to see or want to do. But that's not actually true. A dream for me is what you want to achieve. That's as simple as it is. Now, it could come from anything. It could come from a magazine. You've seen a nice photo of a mountain. It could come from a National Geographic film or a documentary that you've seen and you just think, I want to go there. Or it could just be, my dad told me this, or my brother, or whoever it is, and you think, that's a great idea. How do I go about starting it? So that's the number one. Where do you want to go? What do you want to see? What do you want to achieve? So what I do with each of these steps, write down, just write a little comment. What do you want to see? Where do you want to go? And then we can plan that. We can start on the next steps of it. Okay, number two, nice and easy, research. You've chose where you want to go. That was your dream. Now you're going to do some research. We live in a beautiful age. Google is available, the internet's available. Throw where you want to go into Google and put hiking and backpacking and trekking at the end of your search. It'll come up with a list. I'm pretty sure if it's one of the more famous routes, something that you've chosen and people have done before because you've seen it in a magazine or whatever, then there will be some information. Somebody have wrote a blog, or somebody would have done a YouTube video maybe on those routes. You'll find a lot of information by just searching for it. That's a great way to start. Whilst we're doing the research of your trek, so you've got a goal, you've got a dream of what you want to see. Whilst we're on about the research, what I recommend for your first time out is choose a campsite that is in the middle. So if you want to do, I don't know, Snowdon in one day, you get back to your campsite in the middle. That means you can park at it. That means you can go out and do Snowdon in one day, and you're always not very far from your car if you need to bail. On the second day, you do a smaller route, back to your car, back to the campsite. And the reason why I'm saying a campsite is it's not all of your creature comforts that are missing. You can get back to the campsite, all of them have showers, toilets, things like that. That will set you up and slowly introduce you into getting out in the wild. If you've got a campsite as well, you're not massively in the wild. You're not going to have, this is for the English people, but you're not going to have wild animals coming in at night disturbing you. It's already a kind of big step that you're going to sleep in a tent. There are going to be more noises in a tent than you'd have at home, and this way it's just an introduction into it. But research, go on Google, find as much information about the trail that you want to achieve and how you can do it. Campsite in the middle, circular route one day, circular route the next day. Doesn't matter where it is or what your dream is, I would choose that as a starting point. Number three, gear. You're going to need some equipment to go outside. There are hundreds and hundreds of YouTube videos that will show you what is the best made gear in the world with the lightest weight and with the highest cost. What you do need, there's some great cheap shops out there. I mean, I don't buy a professional mountain bike. If I want to get into mountain biking, I buy something that will do the job to see if I like it. Great stores out there. One of them's Decathlon, Lidl, Aldi, some of the cheapest stores, Tesco's. Whatever it is, they sell some camping equipment, some of the garden centres as well. It will be cheap equipment, which is great, or you can borrow it off a mate. I'm not going to go too much into the details of gear on this video because I want to get into the planning and preparation of your trek. But there's a lot of videos out there. Watch some videos, build up the equipment. If you want to spend €1,000 on it or £1 on a tent, go ahead. I guarantee you won't use £1,000 worth of tent. You might as well get away with the first couple of nights with a Lidl Tesco tent and see if you like it, and then spend more money as you get into the sport of backpacking. So there's some great things out there. Have a look on the videos. I have some gear videos as well and stuff I recommend over 30 years of doing this. Most of my stuff is quite expensive though, but there are some cheaper options out there. If anybody has any specific questions on gear, just write a comment in there. More than happy to try and get you started. For your first backpacking and hiking trek, if you are only going out for 2 days, if your base weight, so your whole rucksack, weighs about 10 to 12 kilos, you're already doing pretty good. If that includes a tent, water, food, your sleep system, you're doing pretty good on the start there. And some of the cheaper ones are getting more and more lightweight as technology evolves. So don't worry too much about gear. Have a look at other videos. Write a list. There are some great websites out there if you want to get into the gear geek sort of areas. I am a gear geek. There's Packlight, PackWizard, Lighter Pack. There's loads of different websites. I'll put some links in the description below. You can actually list everything you're going to take, and you can see how that compares in weight to everything else in the world. But on your first one, don't spend too much money. See if you like and enjoy backpacking. All right, we're already through to stage 4, and stage 4 is the plan. You've got your dream, you've done some research of the area, or at least of the trek that you want to do. You've had a look round, you've got your gear from other YouTube videos, and you've got that all sorted out. Now we're going into the planning. Now the plan for me is always the most important because it involves safety, involves map reading, it involves telling people where you're going, and it's like the bread and butter of backpacking and hiking. Your plan is everything. You don't have to stick to that plan. No plan survives after first contact, as we used to say. So you've got to have alternatives there. You've got your dream, so you know roughly where you're going. You haven't quite found the trail that you want to do yet. So what I do is there's 3 websites that I use, or 3 apps that I use. One is OS Maps. I've been using OS Maps since a very, very long time. All Trails and Komoot. Now on each of these apps, and I'll show you on the screen as well, each of these apps you can put in a distance that you want to walk on a day. You can put in the height gain that you want. You can put in on some of them if it's easy, medium or hard. Obviously on your first one, I'd just go easy. My recommendations for your first backpacking trip on day 1, don't do any more than about 10 miles really. If you're getting up to the 15 miles and plus, think, can you run a half marathon? If you can't, and there's a question mark there, then stay around 10 miles. That's quite a long way to walk with no experience, by the way. You've got a heavy weight. Like I said, 12 kilos on your back, you're going to walk 10 miles. You're going to be very tired by the time that you get in. So have a look through those All Trails, OS and Komoot. You can put in the distance you want to walk. You can put in which one you want to see, you know, your famous dream that you want to achieve. And they will guide you to easy, medium and hard routes. The next thing I always do is after I've researched that trail, so on day 1 I'm going to do a circular route, day 2 I'm going to find another route, and in the middle I have a campsite. All of them will have campsites listed on them. They will say, same as a general Ordnance Survey map, they will say where a campsite is. You choose that, circular route day 1, circular route day 2. The campsites will be pictured on the maps, and what I like to do is kind of pinpoint on it. On the OS maps, for definite, I know this, they will also have a link to the paper map that you can buy. For me personally, I never go backpacking and hiking without a map of the area, at least directions wrote down, or something on paper that I can refer to if my phone goes out of signal, goes out of battery, whatever it is. I have a paper map, and I always carry a compass with me as well. In fact, I have it right here. I always do that. It's a safety reason. If you don't know how to read a map, kind of interesting to find out, isn't it? So there's loads of YouTube videos out there. Actually, I do some as well. You can have a look at them on how to read maps, how to use a compass. So have a look at the apps, download the apps. You can use them. Take a power bank with you just in case you run out of battery. Signal, you can't do anything about that, so you're going to have a paper map. I buy the paper map of the area I want to go. I always carry it with me in my rucksack. That's my next step. So apps first, then paper map. What the paper map does as well is sometimes some of the apps are a bit lacking in detail. And on the paper maps, I can see if there's a pub halfway around that I want to visit and think I'm going to have a good stop there. That shows up, or a waterfall, or a post office, or anything can show you on a paper map. You can do a little detour on your trek and you can see some more interesting things on the way that you perhaps wouldn't have if you'd just stayed to the trail. Well worth getting the paper maps, well worth having that backup and safety there. Right, the plan is pretty much everything. So we've got a campsite now, we know it's a good one. We looked at the reviews on Google Reviews and we found a lovely little place. We've got our trails mapped out in not only our apps, but we've also got the paper map there just for backup. Now we've got to go through timings. How long does it take you to walk 10 miles? Well, this we can work out as well, because there's a rule, the Naismith rule. I do another video on that, but basically if you walk around about 5 kilometers an hour, so 3 miles an hour on a fairly flat terrain, you can work out that your 10-mile walk, depending on the fact how fit you are and how much weight you're carrying, is probably going to take you about 3.5 hours. If you add some stops into that, so you want to stop at the pub like I've just mentioned, stop at the pub, add an hour. If you want to have a little break and you want to stay at the waterfall that you found for an hour, take some videos and some photos, add another hour, and you can work it out. So that's the Naismith rule. There is another video on that. I'll try and put it in the link below. Then you can work out your timings. Now, you're going somewhere you've never been before, but you're going outside. You're going backpacking, you're going camping, you're doing something different to your normal life. So whenever I go hiking, ultramarathon running, whatever my challenge is next, I tell someone. I have a deal with my dad, thanks Rocky, that I text him in the morning, I text him in the evening. If I haven't texted him in the evening, it's not the fact that he starts getting worried, it's the fact that he will start kicking into place that if I miss one text, he's okay with it. He'll start thinking, all right, something's happened, he's run out of signal. If I miss 2, he then starts putting into place a backup plan. That could just be your mate walking along the trail and seeing if something's wrong, or your mate trying to phone you, or whatever it is. You don't have to go to the extreme of mountain rescue straight away. It could just be you had one too many drinks and you slept in, or whatever it is. It could be a mate coming to back you up. Could be that you're not alone and you're with someone else, and someone else has a signal when you don't. So they text whoever it is as your backup. But the next part of the plan is tell someone where you're going. It's always good backup to have. If it carries on over days and days and days and you're really late for work and everything else, then mountain rescue straight away. Get them involved. They're good guys and girls. They're brilliant at their jobs. They know everything about trying to find people and missing people. So that's your plan done. You've got your dream area of where you want to go. You've done some research on Google. You've got the gear you need, and you've also got your plan with your times laid out, what you want to see, your paper map and your app. That's how we get started. It's nice and simple. Don't be too nervous about it. My only comment on it was things will go wrong. You will get a puncture in your sleeping pad. It will be an uncomfortable night. It will rain sometimes when you're not expecting it, even though the weather said it's going to be fantastic. If you don't take a rain jacket, I promise you it will rain. It's sod's law, as we say. But don't worry about things. Make sure you're safe. Make sure you can get back to your car and you have a backup plan. And make sure that you can return and just enjoy it. It's supposed to be fun. That's why we do it. Okay, thanks for watching. If there are any open questions, put them in the comments below. I'm more than happy to try and help people get involved in backpacking and hiking. It's my favourite thing to do, and I'd love more people to be interested in it. So if you can subscribe and like this video, I'd really appreciate it. I don't earn very much money out of YouTube at all. I still have to have a job. So I'm just trying to help people out and get them excited about backpacking and hiking like I am.